Plaintiff Shaniqua Royster is here on behalf of her uncle to find out if the defendant is his biological son. Shaniqua says her uncle is too ill to travel, but she found out about the defendant a few months ago. So she petitioned for a DNA test to see if they are in fact related. Defendant Alex Williams remembers meeting Shaniqua's uncle when he was younger, but his mother never said that he was Alex's father. Alex claims he last saw his alleged father when he was a teenager, and he's eager to find out the truth today.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
All right, and we're here today to determine whether you all are siblings or cousins.
Cousins.
Cousins, all right. Mm-hmm. Let me get some background from you.
Yes, Your Honor. So today, my name is Shaniqua again, and I'm here today on behalf of my Uncle Al, who unfortunately is on bed rest in a long-term care facility and unable to travel. I'm here to see if Alex is his son and my cousin.
How old is he?
My uncle is, he's 63.
Wow.
63. He's
He's gonna recover?
It's hard to say.
Have a
he's
chronic
been
disease or something?
Well, I don't know exactly what's wrong with him, but I know he's immobile and his voice is really low. He can't talk. So
God bless him. And so that's who he would like for you to get the information, no doubt, as you do.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
And that is what? What are we trying to find out exactly?
Whether or not he was fathered by my uncle Al.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about your dad or mom?
So my dad, that's my Uncle Al's older brother.
Okay.
So
he would be your dad's what?
My dad's uncle.
Nephew.
Or that would be my dad's
nephew.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So you see, if you all are cousins, if he's your dad's nephew, and you're doing it on behalf of your uncle, your dad's brother.
Yes.
Because he wants to know, as do you.
Yes.
And he doesn't have the health to be able to pursue it, so he's asked you to.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Well understood. Give me some background on your life.
So we grew up as a really close-knit family. My uncle, my dad, my aunt, and all my cousins, we all grew up under my grandmother's wing. We all grew up, spending all of our weekends together and going to church on Sundays. So growing up, my dad, he was, I always heard stories of him being in the streets as well as my uncle. But the story is that when I was born, he changed his life around for the better. And I've always known my dad to be on the upright and narrow. So I always wondered if the same thing would happen.
How old was he when you were born?
36. So it was kind of late in life.
Good time to change. I mean, no.
Yeah, and it happened right on time, I think, for him. And I'm his only child, so he never had any more children. But I think that if my uncle knew that he had a child, or if he, had a suspicion that he had another kid, the same revelation could have happened for him, but he just never knew that he had any kids.
How did this come up, this question?
Okay, yeah, so it came up in September of this year. So very recently. So a friend of mine messaged me on Facebook, and she just mentioned to me that her half-brother had my last name. And so, me wondering how that could be, because my last name isn't very common. Royster isn't a common name, especially in San Diego. I asked her more information about if he ever knew who his father was. And she said Alfonso, which is my uncle's name. So we got into it, and she asked me further on, I asked her actually whether or not she or he ever got answers from their mom, and she said no. And that's when I asked their mom's name, and I went to my dad and asked him if he knew of their mother, and he confirmed that he did, that he knew of their mother as dating my Uncle Al years back.
This is just in September.
Yeah, this all happened in September.
So what has been happening up to September? You had no clue of any?
No, never. I never even had an idea. I didn't even know he existed, and vice versa. He didn't know that, that we existed as, his family. That's when I asked their mom's name, and I went to my dad and asked him if he knew of their mother, and he confirmed that he did, that he knew of their mother as dating my Uncle Al years back.
This is just in September.
Yeah, this all happened in
So
September.
what has been happening up to September? You had no clue of any?
No, never. I never even had an idea. I didn't even know he existed.
Plaintiff Shaniqua Royster says 3 months ago, she discovered the defendant may be her uncle's biological son. So she petitioned the court for a DNA test on his behalf to find out the truth.
Sir, let me get some background from you.
My name is Alex Williams, Your Honor. I'm here. It all fell onto my lap. My background is I have a family, 4 siblings, 3 children. And when my sister came to me, and I'm like, it's kind of a shocker because I'm not on social media. I don't really do that. But they got together and they started talking. My sister was curious. She called me.
You must not be involved in crime.
Huh?
You're not involved in, obviously, yeah.
No.
Because you're not on social media flashing. Now, I can tell when somebody is a criminal now. They're not on social media.
Got to stay low. Keep it low.
Stay low.
You're on social media. Criminal. Criminal. Go ahead. You're not on social media, so you didn't know much, but you had never heard anything growing up.
Yes, because he would be in and out my mom's, our life, not mine, because I was young. He would come over and there would be speculation that maybe he might be. We kind of look similar, I guess you could say. My mom, I think.
Her uncle, we're
her
talking
uncle,
about. Okay.
which is assumably to be my dad.
Right.
Yeah, so it was always something that me and my siblings would joke about, because my mom was a great woman. She raised 5 on her own. Very strong, very powerful, uplifting. She raised us well. She raised us with respect, dignity, and honor.
Good. Give your mom a hand. What was your mom's name? Is she still
Her
with
name
you?
was Althea Hazel Jones.
Althea Hazel. God
Her
bless
nickname
you.
was Hazel.
God bless.
Freckle-faced, beautiful woman. And she recently passed last year.
God bless.
And so some of the questions when it came back to me, which he had been in and out maybe 3 or 2 times. Probably the last time I seen him, I was maybe a teenager. That was about the last time, and then I never seen him again. And I never knew that he had a brother. I didn't know I didn't know any of that,
about him.
you know. And when I was younger and growing up and I was a teenager, I would ask my mom, like, Mom, is it true? Just come on. And she'll about humbug me. It was more for protection as I got older and I started thinking, and especially in the last couple of months, like she was protecting me from that.
What did she say he was coming over for if he wasn't?
She was a good soul. So he would be out on the street. She would feed him, clothe him, let him bathe. Something I still do for some of my siblings.
What city?
San Diego, California.
Tough neighborhood.
Yep.
I mean, if you're raising 5 children,
5 by yourself.
home,
Yep. She did that though. I mean, she grind. We didn't have to want for nothing. We all grew up with great morals. She always taught us that you gotta work for what you got, and if you ain't rich in money, just try to stay rich in love.
That's right, and values. That's right. What did she pass from?
She had a heart attack.
Must have been a
Heart failure.
relatively early age.
Yeah,
What age?
63.
And how old were you? So you were how old?
I'm 33. So she died 2 days before my.
Did she have a heart condition?
She didn't have a heart condition, but I believe it had something to do with like some COVID stuff, and she was older, so it got her. Yeah.
And she wasn't older at 63.
Yeah, that's young.
That's still young. That's young and beautiful, and but she was tired.
Sudden, that's sudden.
She probably knew because she was coming around the grandbabies a whole lot more, coming around us, giving us her last little words of advice and wisdom. So I can think about that now, but when it happened, I wasn't thinking like that. But she knew it was time, and she left peacefully. She left happy, knowing that we stuck together, and that's why it's crazy because if I had a whole side, I think she would want me to know, but.
Right. And so
that's them. I think she maybe took it out on him because there's speculation. I'm sure they probably dated or whatever, something like that. I believe in my heart of hearts that it was to protect us from somebody who was ripping and running the streets, and that's one thing she taught us not to do. That was a big value. Go to school, work hard for everything to take care of your family, no matter what.
What was your mom's name? Is she still with you?
Althea Hazel. Jones.
Althea Hazel. God
Her
bless.
Her nickname was Hazel.
God bless.
Freckle-faced, beautiful woman. And she recently passed last year.
God bless.
And so some of the questions when it came back to me, which he had been in and out maybe 3 or 2 times. Probably the last time I seen him, I was maybe a teenager.
Plaintiff Shaniqua Royster says 3 months ago, she discovered the defendant may be her uncle's biological son. So she petitioned the court for a DNA test on his behalf to find out the truth.
That was my mother's pattern in raising 4 boys in the toughest housing projects in Detroit. Yeah. So my question to you would be, how is your mindset generally? Because, well, let me ask you this. Let's lighten it up. At what point did she tell you all to look out for each other?
About maybe around my last year birthday when she passed, right before she passed that month.
Yeah, because me and my brothers, we gathered around her table. We knew the doctors had called us at 1 a.m. And I was 18, she was 49. My brother's 24, 26, and 28, whatever the case, older than me. So she says, y'all go to church. These are her last words. Go to church and take care of each other.
Nice.
And I'll be damned if 2 of them didn't take that literally. And I've been taking care of them ever since. And when I don't give them what they want, you heard mama. No, that was 42 years ago.
Mama said.
Right, 42 years ago. That's all right. She looking down.
Yeah, watching you.
Yeah. They know how to get me. Okay, well, I'm hoping that, you know, you guys are fulfilled by whatever the decision might be. Sometimes you have mixed feelings, and I'm not sure what those mixed feelings may be, because, you know, you might be hopeful and you might be hopeful, and if you all are hopeful, if both of you are hopeful, that's good because you are related.
Wow.
Have a good day.
I knew it. He called it. It's unfortunate that we couldn't grow up together as cousins and grind together, hustle together, protect each other. But it's such a blessing to know, with me losing a lot of my family that I do know, to know I have a whole nother family, an uncle.
Yeah. And I'm happy that you finally getting some closure. I'm getting a little emotional because it's like, wow.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that it came out this way, and I'm happy to welcome you into the family.
Thank you.
You are already family, and we have to have a family reunion.
We have to.
We have to.
I don't care what we do.
In San Diego.
We got to.